quiet down, please? Thank you. Okay, thank you all for coming tonight to the second precinct community meeting for August. We got a great turnout. I'm thrilled that everybody has come here. Communication between the police department and the community is very important. We get a lot of information from our residents, and any way we can cooperate to help you and you can help us get our job done, that's always a good thing. I'd like to thank some of our elected officials for coming tonight. I know we got Stephanie Bontempi over there, our legislator. We have reps from the Town of Huntington. Thank you for coming tonight. Some of our ambassadors, Kenny in the back, Kenny. So anyway, we usually start the meetings off. I like to have my officers introduce themselves, so if you happen to see them around or if they happen to work in your community, they usually say where they work and how long they've been on the police department. If you see them and you'd like to have a conversation with them afterwards to find out what's going on in your neighborhoods, or if you have any issues, you can let them know. So starting off with the sergeant, please.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sergeant Dolan from the 2nd Precinct Community Support Unit. If you have any issues or concerns, you can always call me in my office, 854-8240. Whatever issue you have, I'll take care of it and my team.
Good afternoon, my name is Mark Panetti. I'm Sonic Patrol. I float around throughout the precinct, and thank you for having me. I have just about a year on here.
Nice. Hey, evening, everybody. Officer Leota, like Morgan, I float around the whole precinct. Been on about 2 years. We'll have a second of it. Love supporting the community.
Officer Rudolph, I work the 205 car. It's East North Board, Fort Salonga area. Started in January 22. The next 2 years on. So.
Officer Albano, I was recently transferred to the Community Support Unit with Sergeant Dolan. I previously worked at Huntington Village Car, marked Unit 201, and I have about 2 years on as well.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks. So they'll be around till the end of the meeting if anyone has questions or if they work in your neighborhood. Before I start the meeting tonight, we have a little presentation for one of our officers. Officer Delgado, Claudia Delgado, is our community support officer, community liaison officer. She works out of headquarters, but she spends all of her time in the 2nd precinct. I've never met an officer who has more passion for what she does. Every time I see her, she's involved in some type of community event, whether it's helping organize soccer games, boxing. She is all in when it comes to the community. I know that I'm truly blessed to have her. In my eyes, she's probably the best one that we have in Suffolk County. She knows that. I tell her that all the time. We have Assemblyman Stephen Stern here, and he has a little presentation for Claudia, so I'm going to bring him up, and he's going to present her with her award. Thanks. Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Inspector, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm your New York State Assemblyman, Steve Stern. It's my privilege to represent our community in the New York State Assembly. First of all, let me say hello to all of my neighbors and wish all of you and your families a rest of a safe and enjoyable summer. Let me also say a thank you on behalf of our community to the outstanding men and women of the Suffolk County Police Department who do such an outstanding job keeping all of us safe. Thank you to all of you. Every year we are asked by the Speaker of the Assembly to identify an outstanding woman of distinction that serves as a model, that serves as an example for all of us to follow. There is no better model representing our community for all that she does, who has brought more joy to so many of us in so many ways and has dedicated herself to all of her neighbors with such a passion, such a dedication for so many years. Officer Delgado, for just about as long as I can remember, has literally been the go-to person in the Suffolk County Police Department for our entire community. It is really, I got to tell you, a personal privilege to present this New York State Assembly proclamation to Officer Claudia Delgado for all that she does for all of us, to continue to serve as a role model for so many, and to continue the outstanding work that you do that I'm sure everybody would agree that puts us in a position to say congratulations, but most importantly to say thank you.
Thank you.
You guys want to come in, get some pictures? Just bear with us, we'll take a few pictures.
You want to hold this for Mama? Yeah. Just want to say thank you because I could not work for a better community. Team Huntington all the way.
Let's go!
Love you. Love you, love you. Love you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Tony. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, we're good.
Claudia participates in the youth soccer program, boxing. Gee, I didn't think we did that anymore. Bikes for kids, shop with the cop at the mall, Christmas time, the annual turkey giveaway program, Thanksgiving. She assists with domestic violence victims, numerous other programs in disadvantaged areas. She's taught school bullying at schools. She's raised funds and recruited volunteers, and she's used her own money for many of the programs. She's participated in delivering turkeys around the holidays to the homes of the elderly and disabled persons. She's arranged car seat inspections and worked on grants to obtain car seats for those who can't afford them. She's active in the Three Kings for a Day program. That's when children dress up in costumes and receive gifts. Our pleasure to participate in this award.
Yeah, just so you know, she's very humble in what she does, and we had to kind of use a ruse to get her here tonight because she really doesn't like to take these awards because she just loves what she does. So thank you again. You're a very special person. Okay, so we'll get on with the rest of the program. We'll start with our crime numbers. Our year-to-date crime numbers, index crimes, murder, we're pretty much even from 22 to 23, just one, thank God. We're down in robberies. We had 14 robberies so far in 2023 as opposed to 17 and 22. Assaults, pretty much even. Residential burglaries, we're down just a little bit, 34 this year, 38 last year, year to date. Commercial burglaries, dead even on that one. Larcenies are down a little bit, a little percent, 7%. 997 in 23, 1,082 in 22. And vehicle thefts were down 72 as opposed to 87 in 22. That's our year-to-date numbers. These are our monthly numbers comparing June to July of this year. So no homicides in June and July. Robberies, we had 5 in July as opposed to 3 in June, up 66%. Assaults were up, just 1, 9 in June and 10 in July, 11%. Residential burglaries are up. We had 7 in July. I'll speak about this a little more in depth, as opposed to 4 in June. Commercial burglaries also up about 300%. We had 8 in July as opposed to 2 in June. And larcenies are down a little bit, 138 in July as opposed to 179 in June. And vehicle thefts were up in July, 11 as opposed to 5 in June, 120% went up. We had a bank robbery on Thursday, July 13th, about 2:21 p.m. in the afternoon. New York Community Bank, 693 East Jericho Turnpike, Huntington Station. A male suspect entered the bank. He gave the teller a note. It said, "Give me all the money in the till. I have a pistol." The suspect fled on foot with $4,286 in cash. The major case detectives investigate this. They handle all bank robberies. We had a robbery arrest up at the new ShopRite at the Big 8 Shopping Center in Huntington. Basically on June 7th, a Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. 2 suspects were attempting to steal some merchandise. They were confronted by the security guard. They assaulted the security guard and they fled in a black Chevy with the Florida Reg. Description was put out. Luckily, some of our observant patrol officers were out there. They grabbed the vehicle. One of the suspects took off on foot, but they were able to apprehend another suspect. And they were charged with robbery after when you steal something and there's a physical confrontation, it goes from a larceny to a robbery. So they were charged with robbery. Another robbery on Sunday, June 18th, 5 p.m. The 7-Eleven store, 378 Oakwood Road in Huntington Station. Unknown Hispanic male went in, asked for a pack of cigarettes. He didn't want to pay for them. The store employee confronted him, and he pulled out a knife, and he stated to the employee, he was on a bike, he said, "Let go of my bike before I stab you." So he took off, and the store clerk very smartly just let him go. So he wasn't assaulted. Another robbery, 17 East 11th Street, Huntington Station, Saturday on the 24th of June, 8 p.m. Complainant received a knock on his door from his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. This is never a good situation. The complainant opened the door in an attempt to settle this prior dispute, and 2 additional males jumped in the door with the first one who who came to the door. They demanded the complainant's cell phone, and they stole his iPhone, 2 pairs of Nike sneakers, Versace cologne, and $120 cash, and they fled the scene. He was threatened to not report the incident. He waited a while before he reported it, but he did eventually report it to us. So that's under investigation. Another robbery, Columbia Street in Huntington, Friday, 23rd of June, 4:40 p.m. Complainant was approached by 2 unknown males. They punched him in the head and stole $70 cash from him. When the detectives responded, the complainant really changed his mind about cooperating with us. So right now, that's just a pending case because he's refusing to cooperate right now. I don't know what that was all about. We had a gun arrest Thursday, June 5th, about 4:29 in the morning. Patrol officers responded to a 1-car accident. The vehicle left the roadway and hit a tree. When they got there, the operator was conscious, but he didn't want to comply, and they were trying to get in to help him because he was injured. He was refusing to open the door. So they wound up getting into the car, and as they were assessing him, one of the officers felt a bulge in his pocket, and they wound up coming up with this handgun. So he was arrested and charged with criminal possession of a weapon second. It's like you never know what we're responding to. You think you're just going to a regular car accident, and out of that, they came up with an illegal handgun. So that was a nice job by those guys. Another gun arrest. This was Thursday, the 20th of July, 9:15 p.m. A 15-year-old juvenile went into Huntington Hospital with a gunshot wound. He stated that he was walking down Craven Street with his mom, and he just all of a sudden realized he was shot in the hand. Yeah. So obviously, the story was, you know, pretty hinky, and the detectives went down. They wanted to question him, obviously, with the mother, but he invoked his right to counsel, so he wasn't talking. They were able to talk to the mother later on, and then they discovered that this juvenile accidentally shot himself in his house, and he had this gun there, and he hid it. We were able to recover the gun, and he was arrested and charged with the possession of it. This was a ghost gun, no serial numbers on it. Not sure where he obtained it, but they are out there. But this was another nice job getting to the bottom of what really happened. We had a reckless endangerment first. Some of you may have heard about this, not really sure. It was Thursday, July 20th, about 9:15 p.m. down in the parking lot of 15 Wall Street in Huntington. So the patrol officers were dispatched to the call of two suspects who were involved in a dispute. One of the suspects showed up with this shotgun to confront the other suspect who he had a prior problem with, a dispute. The second suspect, who was at the bar, came out and confronted this gentleman and grabbed the gun, and then the gun went off, but it discharged into the ground, so there was no threat to anybody else. The officers responded. He was already gone, but they developed enough information to find out who he was and where he resided, and they were able to go to his residence. And we wound up surrounding the residence. He wouldn't cooperate. He wouldn't come out. It turned out to be like a 3-hour hostage negotiation thing, where we were able to go in and we were able to peacefully resolve the situation, and then we wound up recovering this shotgun. So that was pretty involved.
Was it in the town of Huntington?
It was in Huntington, but right on the border of Cold Spring Hills by East Roads Path, in that neighborhood back there. So any of you who lived in that neighborhood that night heard a lot of sirens, and we were trying to, you know, get this guy's attention to get him to come out of the house. So I appreciate the cooperation of the residents there, because, you know, we have certain things we have to take care of, and unfortunately this went on into about 3 in the morning, and a lot of residents didn't get sleep that night.
It's not always what it looks like. I'm familiar with the family. They're an affluent, well-educated, good family. He's probably still distraught over his brother's suicide. Maybe that's affecting him. He's crying for help. He's in a good system now to get help.
Anyway, that was safely resolved, thank God. Okay, we had a burglary on Tuesday, June 13th, 11:34 a.m., 70 Minetto Hill Road, Huntington. Unknown suspect entered the residence by smashing a rear window and stole jewelry and watches, value of around $10,000. Another burglary, June 17th, 6 p.m., 327 Lenox Road, Huntington. Complainant reports they're being away for 2 days and returned home to find all her kitchen appliances were stolen, $10,000. Yeah, you know, I'll talk about burglaries later, because it's hard to believe that something like this can happen and nobody calls the police when they see people taking like all the appliances out of the house and stuff like that. But sometimes, you know, they could think, oh, maybe they're getting new appliances. I don't know. You know, I really don't know how this could go undiscovered or unreported, but this is what was reported to us. Another burglary on Landview Drive in Dix Hills, June 20th, 2:35 in the morning. 3 unknown subjects wearing masks entered the residence through an unlocked sliding rear door. Once inside, they located the keys to the 2023 Mercedes Maybach and drove off with the vehicle. This is a high-end vehicle valued at about $200,000. This was a particularly disturbing burglary because there's video in the house, and I was able to watch this video. And it was really hard to watch because these gentlemen were in and out of this house numerous times, and the people were sleeping upstairs, and they thought the noise was from their son, who apparently sleeps downstairs. So everything was on video. Nobody even looked, I guess, at their own cameras to see who these people were. they couldn't get to that Mercedes without moving another car that was in the way.
Oh my
So
God.
they went back in to find the keys to the electric car, the the Tesla.
So they left the Tesla.
So they were able to get the Tesla out, and then they were able to get to this car, and they left the Tesla, and they took off in the car they came in, and this. So nobody.
I think this was an inside job, like sometimes the dealerships will follow.
Well, you know, the detectives got to look into all of those aspects of it. This one, I don't know. This is a high-end car. I don't know how they knew this car was there. You know, it could be something like that. But if you saw the video, it would disturb you that these, I mean, in and out of the house. Again, though, I talk about this every meeting with the locking your doors, please. You know, I mean, this is a really nice neighborhood over here. And a lot of people still think, you know, I don't have to lock my doors, but, you know, you do. You just got to lock them at night. Just make sure your house is secure, because if someone would have had to break a window to get in here, you know, maybe it would have been a different story. But they just went in and out of this house, and it was hard to watch. So I just want to let you know. Okay?
Can I ask how long before the video?
15, 20 minutes. Yeah, they were in and out. I mean, it's a long video. And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. Okay, another burglary, Tall Tree Court, Cold Spring Harbor, on July 1st. Complainant reports unknown suspect entered his residence through a rear window and stole $25,000 worth of jewelry. A lot of these burglaries are rear entry burglaries. The point of entry seems to be in the backyard. A lot of these houses here that we're seeing are really spread out with vegetation all around. So, you know, I asked, you know, if you see something suspicious in your neighborhood, maybe even just some guy walking, knocking on doors. A lot of times they knock on the door, no one answers, no one's home. They'll go around the back and they'll break in that way. Nobody can see them. So, you know, this is how they do this. But if you happen to be home and you see something suspicious, you know, we all have cell phones nowadays. Take a picture of the person, maybe the car. I mean, if you can get the plate, it's great if you see something. But you really need to be alert of what's going on around in your neighborhood. Sometimes it's hard. These guys sneak around, and you know, we don't get that much. We get video on a lot of them, but they're smart nowadays. They're all masked up and everything. So it's hard to get leads if we don't get DNA or something like that. You know, it's very difficult. So if someone from the community could give us a tip, as little as it may seem to you, the slightest thing could help us to solve, you know, one of these burglaries. A lot of them do. A lot of them have video. Yeah, but you know, like I have my own, and when it goes off on my phone. So I right away look at the video. It depends on how these people have things set up. Obviously, this one they probably didn't, because they broke the window, and the neighbors, you know, didn't call. I think there's one here where the alarm went off, and we responded after the fact. But yeah, I would recommend having an alarm system. You know, it's always good. Here, is this the one? Okay, so on, another burglary, July 28th, 9 p.m., 32 Peabody Road, Cold Spring Harbor. We responded to an alarm, as you answer your question, and they discovered the suspect entered the residence by prying open a rear bedroom window, again, through the rear of the house. They know nobody could see back there, so they're pretty comfortable to go in. They usually just go right to the master bedroom, ransack that. Most people, unfortunately, keep their valuables there. And so in this case, they got away with about $10,000 worth of jewelry.
Do they usually walk up to the house, or are they parked nearby?
It depends, you know. Sometimes they will knock on the door, and if no one answers, they're pretty comfortable that no one's home, and then go around. But sometimes they just sneak around, you know. This was at night, so in the dark, you know, maybe they just realized no cars in the driveway kind of thing. You know, I mean, they could be in the garage, but a lot of times most people park in the driveway, so if they don't see any cars, sometimes that'll be a target for them. It's hard to say, you know, what they use to select a particular residence.
But they scout it out, usually, most of the time?
I would say, yeah. You know, sometimes it's just opportunity. If they're walking by and they don't see any activity on the block, might feel comfortable to do it, you know. We've had confrontational ones, too, where people are home, so... You know, these, thank God, when no one's home, it's actually better, because who knows what could happen. Okay, another residential burglary. This was over a couple of days, or it was like a week, I think. The people were away, and actually this dwelling was under construction. And again, somebody must have known. They had the appliances delivered prior to the completion of the construction. So these guys went there and they loaded everything on their truck and walked away with these high-end appliances, about $27,000. Okay, yeah, this is another one, another burglary between Monday, June 26th and Friday the 30th, 395 New York Avenue, Huntington Station. I believe this is a doctor's office. Unknown suspect broke the rear window, entered the business, and he stole the defibrillator. So anything that's worth money, they'll take, you know. So crime opportunity, you might have been able to see it from outside, breaks the rear window, goes in, steals it. I don't know who he's going to sell it to, but public lewdness arrest. So July 27th, not too long ago, about 4:38 in the afternoon, near Finley Middle School in the wooded area, somebody was jogging, and they observed this gentleman standing there naked, masturbating, and they called us. We responded in a timely fashion, and we were able to place him in custody for this lewd act. Luckily, there were no children around at the time this guy was doing this, but every once in a while, we'll deal with something like this, disturbing. Okay, a couple of search warrants were executed in the precinct. June 6th, our narcotics division with Homeland Security and the Postal Officer Inspector General executed a search warrant in 2 locations in Huntington. 20 East 15th Street, they recovered 147 grams of cocaine. 1 person was arrested there. And then 115 West 21st Street, a kilo of cocaine was seized and 4 people were charged and arrested. On June 20th, narcotics officers executed a search warrant at 144 Winding Street, Huntington Station. Again, recovering cocaine, fentanyl, and LSD. 2 people were arrested there. And then on June 27th, crime control officers executed a search warrant on the Cloud Smoke, Cigar, and Convenience Store located at 116 East 11th Street, Huntington Station. 2 people were charged with unlawful sale of cannabis. 1 was charged with possession of more than 16 ounces of cannabis, and then numerous THC and cannabis products, about 465 items were seized, along with other drug paraphernalia and cash. I think I have some pictures of this. So that's the smoke shop. I don't know. They shut them down there. They took everything. We took everything from them. And this is a location that has been a repeat offender. We've been there several times violating them. So
open for a few months.
Yeah, well, we've been there, and so this is, yes, thank you. This is what, you know, we develop an investigation, and we're able to get in there with a search warrant and confiscate all this.
Their grand opening banner is still
there. Yeah.
Inspector, is shut down now?
That's a lot of the stuff. I don't know if they're still shut down, but we shut them down for a time period. They're open again?
Yeah, I think they
Okay,
are.
yeah. I mean, we took everything from them, but you know, if they can restock and do whatever they can, I mean, it's a battle. It's an ongoing battle. We do a lot of compliance checks. I got some coming up. You'll see that we're every month we're on top of it. We're checking all these places.
Should never have been made legal, cannabis. I remember back in the days when it used to be known as the gateway drug.
That's an argument for everybody else. It is.
Showing my age.
It's we all have different feelings about that, but it's legal.
Does this have to do with the Town of Huntington not allowing it, or this is like
No,
they're
this
not
is-
allowed to because they don't have a license for it?
Well, yeah, they can't sell these products, this cannabis stuff and the stuff with the THC in it, and so they display it all, and you could see it's like the candy that looks like candy that kids would eat, and I don't know why people would want to sell this, because eventually kids are going to get their hands on this stuff, and it's terrible.
So were they closed down for selling to underage kids, or
they were shut down because we confiscated everything from them. And then, you know, if they were able to restock everything, you know, and open.
Just because they were like selling the underage kids, crack or something.
Well, that started the investigation off. That's what it was, yeah. Okay. Again, this is what I'm talking about, the compliance checks with these types of places, the smoke shops, and then some SLA. We did some State Liquor Authority checks on some bars that we've been having some issues with down in the village. So on Tuesday, June 9th, we conducted cannabis compliance check on 5 businesses in the town of Huntington. 2 of the stores sold cannabis to undercover officers. So out of the 5, just 2, and the 2 are listed. Nevada Smoke Shop, Jericho Turnpike. They were charged with unlawful sale of cannabis, and Alex's Smoke Shop on Depot Road, also charged with unlawful sale of cannabis. And then on Saturday, July 1st, our crime section officers, along with the State Liquor Authority, Town Code inspectors, and the fire marshal, conducted some SLA checks on the 3 establishments you see listed there. Finley's, 43 Green Street. They were shut down at night for excessive occupancy. They were a frequent violator. Christopher's, 8 Wall Street. They were issued a few violations from the SLA inspectors and 1 from the Huntington Fire Marshal. And then Rust and Gold, another one we have some issues with, issued several violations by the SLA and 2 from the Huntington Fire Marshal. So our plainclothes guys are out there. They're doing a job. Lieutenant Knobloch, he's got a really good crew. He's on top of a lot of this stuff. So just want you to know that they're out there, and they, you know, we're keeping an eye on everything.
What's SLA?
That's the State Liquor Authority. So if you're a licensed premise where you have a liquor license, there's certain regulations you have to abide by, and a lot of these people violate. You know, it's a book this thick. So. Sure.
The 3 premises on the Saturday, July 1st, is
Yes.
that part of compliance checks, or is it somebody reporting it?
We usually what we get reports that there's been incidents there, whether it's unruly, you know, too many people outside, they're drinking outside, urinating outside, wherever these bars are that pop up that we constantly get called to, sometimes fighting, whatever it is. And then what will happen is we've got to target them. We have to speak with them because, you know, you can't do business like that and nobody wants that. So we'll go down there and we'll check their licenses, and we'll bring the fire marshal for occupancy and the town guys. You know, there's all kinds of regulations. They have to have fire extinguishers. I mean, for the most part, if we're going in there, they're probably going to be violated on something. But we usually talk to them first and say, listen, we've been coming here a lot, and if you don't clean it up your act, we're going to come down and do an SLA inspection. So usually they're forewarned, but they don't heed it. So I don't know what to tell you. Okay, arrests in July. 15 felony arrests, 75 misdemeanor arrests, 5 assault arrests, 1 gang, 1 person was arrested, 1 gang member. He had 3 charges on him, 8 drug-related arrests, and 5 DWI arrests. About 115 total arrests in the precinct.
So that 1 person was in 3 gangs?
No, that's just some of the gangs that he was a member of, I believe, the Bloods. But those are just some of the gangs that, you know, that are in our town, and so we just, you know, we decipher it that way. But yeah, he was Bloods, and he had 3 charges on him. Domestic incidents and overdoses. We responded to about 241 domestic incidences in the 2nd Precinct in July. 33 resulted in arrests. Overdoses, we had 6 non-fatal overdoses, and luckily 0 fatal overdoses for July.
Yeah, describe like a location area where these might have been. Is it one?
They're spread out. We get them, you know, I get reports. I can't put it up because it's kind of confidential.
Find that out for the future. It's for the task force.
Yeah, but it is spread out throughout the whole town of Huntington. You'd be surprised it's not concentrated in any particular area. You know, the little pins are all over the place.
Are the 6 non-fatal because of Narcan, or?
No, I think I had the number of, I'll put, you know what, next month I'll get the Narcan saves. We had a tremendous amount of Narcan saves in the precinct from year to date.
Yeah.
I think it was like 65 or something. I'll get the number.
Is it
So
mostly with
population?
All ages. It doesn't, you know, it's all different, all different. You get people in their 50s that are doing all kinds of crazy drugs. Yes?
So, is there any statistics on the amount of car accidents since cannabis became legal, or since marijuana has become legal in the state of New York?
I know we make arrests for it, and we've had some in the precinct where, you know, an officer will stop somebody, and obviously he'll smell it, and he can see, and maybe their eyes are glassy. Sometimes there's, some of our officers are actually trained in recognizing this. They call them the drug technician guys, and they were able to do tests to determine whether or not they're on cannabis or some other type of narcotic drugs. So we have specially trained guys that do that, and they will make arrests. I don't have the statistics for how many we have. We might have a number somewhere in the county. I'll look into it for next month if you need those numbers.
It just will
We'll
be
see.
interesting
To find out. Yeah.
if there's a change.
Yeah, I should be able to get that. I'll look into it. Yes.
So if we, as a citizen, if we smell, I'm on red light, car next to me, obviously there's something going on there.
You can call. Yeah, call us. Let us know.
Because I've
Yeah.
been told that it's legal and.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's
all different answers from different police
it's
officers.
legal to use for personal use, but it's not legal to drive on. So you know there's a difference there. I think people are under the misconception that, you know, people can drive, but they're under the influence of a drug, and that's not allowed. So we will.
Is there a test for it, like alcohol? Or
We don't have a. They make tests. I don't know if our highway guys have them. I know they do make them. I'm not sure if we're supplied with them, but they have other ways to determine that. They actually sometimes they'll take urine and just observation wise. So they can do it on that because they're trained to do it. So that's kind of how that works. Okay, our wonderful highway units came into the precinct. They come in once a month to do enforcement all over the precinct. They conducted enforcement in our precinct on July 11th, the 20th, and the 26th. As you can see, they were pretty busy. They wrote a total of 278 summonses in those 3 days, and 222 of them were for moving violations. The areas they concentrated on were Route 110, Walt Whitman Road, and Pulaski Road. And we still have the Slow Down Suffolk initiative going on. So we've been talking to a lot of places. I know a lot of people are here. They have the community complaints with traffic and stop signs and that. And we'll list them all, and we'll give it to Sergeant Dolan. His guys, that's their specialty. So you could save any of those concerns for later after I'm done, and we'll try and direct people over there. We have some people that have been working pretty hard to try and help out with all the traffic issues. I know there's quite a few of them. Again, you know, we go over this every month. Don't leave your car unlocked. I think out of all those stolen vehicles, probably again, 80% keys were left inside. So it just makes it too easy for them to do it. They just go in there, and if they can find it, they get it. You know, lock your doors, lock your house, pretty much everything. Get your videos ready. You know, again, we have that camera program where if you have cameras and you want to let us know that you have cameras, if a crime happens in that neighborhood, we'll know where to go to try and get footage instead of just, you know, it makes it a little easier for us. We'll knock on doors anyway, but, you know, if they can go in the database and say, oh, this guy definitely has a camera and, you know, he's recording at night, it helps us with any kind of crimes that may occur. Again, gift cards, scam, a lot of scams still out there, a lot of identity theft. Be careful. If you get, you know, a phone call, somebody starts talking to you, or you get something from, you know, the guy saying he's from the power company, trying to get you to pay your bill that you're not sure whether you paid it or not, and then he starts talking about gift cards. It's not the power company, it's somebody who's trying to scam you. So I'm going to try and get the identity theft detectives in here at one of the meetings to kind of go over some of the scams that are out there, but there's so many. But if you hear gift cards, that means that somebody's scamming you. So don't fall for it, you know. That's the camera registry program. If you have your own cameras, okay, we're not tapping into your system, but we're just gonna go to you to see if you have any useful video for us if something happens in the neighborhood. That's what that's about. And you could sign up. I left this on from last month because we're still in pool season. Thank God we haven't had any incidents here in the precinct. But please, you know, don't leave the children out there in the pool without being out there, right there with them. You know, get your life preservers. Make sure everything's fenced. Shouldn't be, you know, more than a couple of kids, just enough that you can watch, one person. We have a school supply drive. You could drop off the donations at the precinct. I think, where's Claudia? Are you running this? We're still doing this, right? Okay, so yeah, if you wanna, if you wanna donate school supplies to people that really need them, we'll take them at the precinct. Also at Gateway Gardens. Okay, you heard of Coffee with a Cop? Now we got Aquafit. We're really branching out on these community things. For those of you who are gym rats and want to show off your abs, you can go down there in your bathing suit and do the Aquafit with a Cop program, okay?
Oh,
You go. I'm doing it? Yeah, you don't want to see me in a bathing suit. So, yeah, anyway, they put this together.
We want to see you there.
I will go. I'm not so sure I'm going to be in a bathing suit. Okay. I don't want to traumatize anybody. All right. So anyway, if you would like to join us August 15th at the pool, come on down and do some Aquafit. All right? We're doing the infancy checks again. If you're not sure how to use it or you think it may be expired, you can go down on Saturday the 26th to the mall, and we'll have a couple of officers there checking these the safety of your seat, if it's installed correctly, if it's certified, whatnot. Claudia, Alyssa, right? Jamie, they do that. So if you're not sure or you know somebody and you want to check it out, send them down there. Assemblyman Brown sent me this slide. He's doing a gently used and maybe new sporting goods drive. If anyone is generous enough and they want to donate, maybe something, you maybe have some sporting goods that aren't too beat up, or you'd like to buy something and donate it. Down at the Moose Lodge in Greenlawn on Pulaski Road on Saturday the 12th. So that's coming up. So if, sometimes got old mitts and gloves and they're not too beat up, you like to donate them. Everybody's always looking to clean stuff out. You can bring them down there. I'm sure they'll put them to good use. There's some contact numbers for us. I'll leave that up and I'll take questions.